Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the channel. Week 3 of the NFL season is in the books here, and we had another pretty awesome weekend of football. And we got our week 3 fantasy football recap for my 4 leagues here. And I gotta say, fantasy starting to take its toll on me, man. I was up late during that Monday night game, just praying some things happened. And as we go through the recaps, we'll see that some things may have happened, some things may not have. But overall, a great weekend of football, and I'm excited to break down the recaps. So I hope you enjoy this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content for NFL fantasy football, and then some gaming as well. That's the main thing on the channel. But right now, football season's in full effect. So let's go ahead and just dive right into what we have for week 3 of the 2025 NFL season. All right, so if this is your first time, tuning into the channel, this is just all about kind of just doing a little weekly recap of my 4 fantasy leagues this year. So I'm in 4 leagues if this is your first time tuning in. The first one's going to be the main league. We're on year 13, me and a bunch of the day one homies going strong, 13 years. It's the main league. It's the one that we all love and hope that I win every single game in. But historically, it's been a tough run for me as of the past decade. So that's the main league. The second league is going to be the work league. First year with some of the work guys over at work. Got a pretty good team going on over there. Some veteran fantasy football players, some rookie fantasy football players, a little bit in between. So I'm having a lot of fun with that league. The third league is going to be the random league. Basically, I just know one person in the league, and I'm the one random out of 10 people in it. Though I am the reigning champ, so I got to make sure that I can continue my success in that league. And then the last league is the shit show, everybody's favorite league. And if you don't know about the shit show, well, you're about to find out. So make sure you stay to the end of the video to learn why the shit show is what it is. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so the first game that we're going to go into here is going to be the main league. So I'm giving you Fitz on the right. And we went up against the Clapping Monkeys, a little bit of a suspect name there, Dibbies. But yeah, he's going to be the opponent in the main league. And as you can see, I lost by 2 points, and it came down to the wire on Monday Night Football. In this particular instance, I was down 40 points, and I had some studs playing. I had Zay Flowers, David Montgomery, and the Detroit kicker, Jake Bates. And I just came up a little bit short. And it really came down to Zay Flowers not doing much for me on Monday Night Football. I'm sure if you're watching this, you may confide in that as well. Zay Flowers did not show up. Second week in the row that in the main league, I needed 3 points to get the win, and it just didn't happen. So let's go ahead and break down the matchup here. So I'm on the right, and my team pretty much the same as last week. The only difference is I got Wan'Dale Robinson in there, and he is one of the guys that kind of shit the bed for me. 3.6 points on Sunday Night Football. Very frustrating to watch. Russell Wilson finally got benched. That guy's so washed. I have no idea why he was even in the league still, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping Jackson Dart maybe brings some upside to Wan'Dale, but nonetheless, I don't even know if I can play him next week. And then Kyler Murray, I mentioned it on last week's episode, one of my weak points of the team. 14 points just isn't really going to get it done at the quarterback position. Again, I needed 3 points to win this week. If I had anybody competent, shit, man, I could have played Marcus Mariota and gotten the win over Kyler Murray. So still debating if I'm going to play him Thursday Night Football against Seattle here. Maybe in prime time he actually decides to do something, but I'm just about ready to cut him and just kind of stream quarterback. But the biggest story I would have to say with my team is that I do have the double Falcons, Bijan Robinson and Drake London. Kind of made the mistake at the draft, didn't really realize what I did until they called me out on it. And yeah, they got shut out by the Panthers, so that's pretty much how my season's going. 16 from Bijan, he's going to get his. A touchdown would have been nice. 10.5 from London, better than what he's been doing, but Michael Penix looks terrible. Travis Etienne, since I traded Terry McLaurin, he's been looking good, 11.6. I mean, he kind of took a touchdown there late from him to get to that, so Bashal Tutin's kind of really cutting into that, so I'm a little bit nervous. Juwan Johnson, picked him up off waivers, still doing good, 11 points from the tight end, you take that. Zay Flowers touched on it before, really just needed more than 3.3 out of him. I was just begging that last drive for the Ravens to just throw it to Zay Flowers, and of course Lamar just wasn't looking his way at all. But David Montgomery came in clutch during that game when he broke off that big run. Oh man, I would have probably won if he scored that touchdown, man. But 29 points, dude. I can't blame David Montgomery for that loss. He put up 29. Absolutely amazing. He gave me a chance. Literally came down to the last play, the 2-point conversion from the Ravens. If Zay Flowers caught it, I think I might have won. The guys were saying I probably only would have gotten 2 points, which would have been even more of a heartbreaking loss, losing by 0.5. But, you know, overall, I don't know. I first week I had some confidence in this team, and now it's just looking like I don't really know. I think my positions are all set except for my second flex. I had Monty and Zay in the flex spots because they were playing on Monday night. Real ones know. Make sure you put your flexes the latest that you can in case something happens and you got to sub them out. But Wan'Dale Robinson's probably going to hit the bench, and I don't even know who I'm going to play. Do I play Calvin Ridley? Do I play Bill Krosky Merritt? Do I go triple Falcons and play Darnell Mooney? Probably not. So I'm just hoping maybe I keep Wan'Dale in and maybe Jackson Dart brings a little bit of spark to that Giants offense. But watching Giants football makes me want to gouge my eyes out. So I'm looking for a different solution than that. But let's give a little bit of credit where credit's due. Dylan here, we call him Dibbies. You know, he won. He had Christian McCaffrey. He got some garbage time. Not really garbage time. They had to give him the ball, but he got that big screen at the end of that game. Got him a bunch of points. Probably won him the week with that one play. Travion Henderson's probably going to get some more playing time since Ramondre Stevenson sucks at holding on to the football. And overall, you know, Chris Olave, PPR terrorist. He's just getting fed by the Rattler. Harold Fannin. I mean, what are we doing here? Michael Pittman is actually looking like a valid play with Daniel Jones on the Colts. That's a pretty fun story. And then the whole thing, Dibs' whole shtick coming into the week was him. He's been scouting Alik Ayamanor, and I have Calvin Ridley, so he's been shit-talking me. Oh, it's Alik, it's Alik. Well, Alik scored the touchdown and ended up beating me, and then Cameron Dicker hit a big field goal. So overall, Dibby's team just came out to play. You know, my takeaways from this week, I hate Kyler Murray. I hate watching him play football. I think he sucks. The Cardinals should just move on from him because they're not going to win anything with him. And the Falcons suck. And Zay Flowers do better. All right, so that's that recap there. Now let's go over to the work league here on Sleeper. So I'm Jim Finance here on the left, and I played against my buddy Grant. He's Lot Walk. And look at this scoreboard, 141 to 140. You've read that right. I won by 1 point. So I was down 26 points going into Monday Night Football. He had nobody. All I had was Jahmyr Gibbs. And I literally won on that last little flick off to the right. He caught a pass, like the third to last play by the Lions. He caught a pass, got me like 1.5 points. I took the lead over Grant, and I won the game. It literally came down to the wire. It was a crazy back and forth. We were in an absolute battle, but I move on to 3-0. Oh, by the way, just to not to backtrack, but now I'm 1-2 in the main league, so not ideal, not ideal. Overall for the weekend, I went 2-2, so that's fine. But back to the work league here. Yeah, pretty crazy game here. The big story from Grant's team, he had Chase McLaughlin, and he also had Pittsburgh's defense, and he got him 40 points. 40 points from the kicker and the defense is insane. That really pissed me off. But luckily, my team came to play as well. Josh Allen's a stud. If you have watched any episodes so far, you may remember from the first week recap that I mentioned that I had the big four running backs of Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Jordan Mason, and Aaron Jones. And I just said, I'm going to wait till, you know, guys get injured and I'm going to plug them in. Well, lo and behold, week 3, Charbonnet and Aaron Jones were both out. So I had some pretty solid plays in Kenneth Walker and Jordan Mason, and they both played really well. 18 points from K9, 23 points from Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason's very underrated. I wouldn't be surprised if he hangs on to the role even when Aaron Jones returns. Malik Neighbors, we already touched on that Giants game. That was just horrendous, dude. I thought I was going to lose after Sunday night because I needed like 30 or something from Malik and Gibbs, and then Malik put up 3, and I'm like, well, I need Gibbs to put up 27 points, and he did. So shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs. I love you. Malik Neighbors, he'll have a bounce back game. Teteroa McMillan, interesting that the Panthers won by 30 and he only had 7.8, but they had some, you know, defensive plays that really helped them get in a position to win. So kind of strange. You know, he's their wide receiver 1. You know, he's going to be kind of hit or miss all season probably, but pretty solid. I think that's probably his floor. DJ Moore, I was watching that game. He wasn't really involved until kind of like later in the game, and then they finally got him a touchdown, kind of saved his day there. Trey McBride, solid tight end. I mean, my strategy of going early quarterback, early tight end with Josh Allen and Trey McBride is really giving me the benefit of having a high floor, and then the rest of my guys have some good pop ability. So that floor right there is putting me up in a good spot. Again, there's Gibbs, my hero, and then my kicker, my defense. I grabbed Green Bay against, Cleveland, 8 points compared to the crazy outcomes that we had with blocked kicks and special teams touchdowns and, big games from all the defenses. 8 points is pretty mild compared to the rest of the board, but going into the rest of the season, there's still a great defense. So yeah, I think overall, this is my best team. I can confidently say out of all 4 of my leagues, this is my best team, the best drafted team. My wide receivers are a little bit weak. I think that this coming week, I'm probably going to bench DJ Moore and play Ricky Pearsall. I also have a leak. I guess Dibby's gotten in my brain a little bit, but I got Ricky Pearsall here, and he looked pretty legit. That game wasn't really exciting, but he made some splash plays, and he's looking like a pretty high-end, flex play. So I'll probably end up playing him. And then Jordan Addison actually comes back next week. So my bench, and then ETN on the bench, my team is looking pretty solid. I haven't even been looking at waivers because I don't really know who I'd even drop on this team, to be fully honest. I think that I am going to compete for the ship. I am the last undefeated team in this league. So I'm pretty excited about this outcome here. Shout out to Grant. He put up a great fight. His kicker and his defense really, kept him in that one big time. He had some good performances from Bijan, decent. Tyreek Hill on Thursday night. Rome Odunze, of course. J.K. Dobbins. He had some action. But ultimately, I won by 1 point, and I texted him in the group chat, and I said, boom, suck it, Grant. And he was sad, but I was happy. So overall, I can't ask for much more about this team. We're going to keep it rolling. I might not lose all season. Probably just jinx myself by saying that, but nonetheless, I'm digging Jimmy Finance. All right, next up, we're going to go into the random league, and unfortunately, this is the league that I think has the most turmoil in terms of my roster construction. Now, we'll get into it. I'm Beantown Bullies. I played Hog Heater. Little background, Hog Heater is actually who I beat in the championship last year, so this was kind of like a championship rematch. I'm sure he maybe remembered that game. It was kind of funny. I was in the chat. I don't really know any of them, but he was his wife was in labor during the championship game, and I was like, oh, he's having a baby. I'm totally going to lose. And then I ended up winning. Shout out to Jameer Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown for that ship last year. So this was a championship rematch, and unfortunately my team just, again, sputtered out in the random league, 108 to 129. Now, if we go down here and just look, again, my team is just not really coming through with a lot of the explosive points that you kind of hope for in fantasy. Saquon Barkley, 7 points. Breece Hall, 7 points. Marvin Harrison, 5 points. That's just not going to get it done, especially when you look at the other side. And Hog had 31 points from, Jonathan Taylor. I'm like, dude, what am I going to do when that guy's scoring, twice as much as 3 of my players combined? It's a recipe for disaster. I really had no chance. And on the bench, I got Michael Pittman and Emeka Egbuka. Emeka, I saw was on a snap count, so I was like, oh, maybe I don't play Emeka. Kyren Williams, 18 points, so that's pretty good. So next week, looking at this team here, Marvin Harrison's on my shit list. That guy might stink, dude. He dropped that wide open pass, dude. I was like, that drop paired with my Kyler play in the other league, I was just like, dude, I hate the Cardinals. Like, this might be my least favorite team in the league. These guys are absolute frauds, and they should just blow up that organization. They're all a bunch of trash cans. But Baker's okay. AJ Brown finally showed up. That's kind of a nice storyline for me. It was good to see him get 100 yards and a touchdown. 19 points is pretty dang solid. And, I thought I played a good defense. The Bucks versus the Jets, 15 points. But, of course, I played the Steelers defense in this league. Played against them as well, 22 points in this league. So I really had no chance. I needed like 28 points from my kicker. And I was like, yeah, we're on to next week, which has been, unfortunately, the story here. You can see, I guess they give you this nice little chart here, and it shows you kind of what went wrong. What really went wrong was I had all 1 o'clock players, and then my 4 o'clock player was Marvin Harrison. He sucked. So next week, I'm thinking I'm going to keep Barkley. I'm going to keep Kyren Williams. I'm going to keep AJ Brown. And then from there, I'm probably going to play Michael Pittman and Emeka Egbuka. And then I'm going to have Breece Hall at the flex. As a Patriots fan, it sickens me to my core to have to play a Jets player. They suck. They absolutely stink. But I'm going to have to do what I have to do. I am sounding the alarm officially for this league as the reigning champ, and being 1-2, it's not looking pretty. This is a 10-man league, so I got to really step it up in the next coming weeks. We'll really see how it goes, but again, I'm not feeling really too hot about this one at all. Holy shit, this guy put up 172? Damn, that's pretty crazy. All right, anyways, so let's get to the last league, everybody's favorite league, the shit show, baby. Now, if this is your first time watching one of these recaps here, the shit show, fan favorite, what this is, it's a 20-man league. And as you can see by the roster construction here, we've got quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, flex, normal. But what is this? We got defensive tackles, defensive ends, linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties, defensive backs, kickers, punters, head coaches. It's the shit show, baby. And it's about to get even smellier now that Tyrone Tracy's out. But let's not get too far ahead of myself. We actually got the dub here against I Love Kiss TDs. I actually don't know who this guy is, but shit show Simi is now 2-1. We're actually in the same division, so that's actually a big win for me when it comes to playoffs down the road. And yeah, let's just take a quick look here. Obviously, so going into this match here, I was down by how much was I down by? I was down by 30 points, something like that. And he had Jameson Williams, and I had Amon-Ra St. Brown and Kyle Hamilton. And it ended up being enough for me to squeak out the dub, 171-165. Now, I had to play Marcus Mariota because Jaden Daniels was hurt. Thank God I got that pickup, or else I would have been absolutely screwed at quarterback. I don't know what I would have done. But Tyrone Tracy and Chris Brooks as my running backs. Guys, this is bad. Tyrone Tracy is probably out for a few weeks with a dislocated shoulders. And not to get too off track, but like just to give you an idea, like let's look at the waiver wire for running backs here. I'm about to start Chris Brooks and Devin Singletary, Imari DiMercado, Zamir, Hassan Haskins. Who the fuck is LaQuinn Allen Jr.? Like, dude, look, I'm in trouble. I am absolutely in trouble. But luckily I got some good wide receivers. Tyreek Hill finally did something. Hunter Henry had a crazy game, 29 points. He was getting fed. Amon-Ra St. Brown, solid. I got Wandale, but I think Cooper Kupp's probably going to get played over Wandale. And maybe even Dontavian Wicks. He can maybe make some plays here. And then my defense actually kind of had a surprise. If you watched last week, Danielle Hunter was actually the guy that won me the week with 26 points. And then he puts up 0 this week. What even is this league? I don't know. And then, you know, honestly, the Texans defensive players, I kind of have a few of them. You know, linebacker from the Texans, 7 points. All-pro cornerback from the Texans, 2.5. It kind of just doesn't make any sense. But luckily, I squeaked out a dub. But I'm not feeling too hot with my running backs about to be projected, you know, 4 points combined going into next week. So we'll see how it goes. You know, it's the shit show. Anything can happen. Like, let's look at here. He played Russell Wilson. You know, RIP anybody that played that fool. Who the hell's texting me? Get out of here, dude. 22.4 from Nico. He had a big game. 19.5 from Keenan. That touchdown catch was pretty sick by Justin Herbert. Fred Warner, 27 points. This guy's, like, the best player in the league. One of the best. Like, we're watching a Hall of Fame player in his prime. It's pretty crazy. And then just a bunch of nothing else, really. So that really opened up the doors for me to, you know, put up 171 and catch a dub. So yeah, that's the shit show, man. You know, it's a pretty interesting league. It's the shit show because there's a bunch of players and the waiver wires are crap and you're shifting through defensive players and offensive players, but it's a lot of fun. So, you know, overall, you know, going just through it real quick. In the main league, I'm 1-2. Let's do a panic meter for each league. I'm 1-2. In the main league, and my panic meter, if 10's the most panicked and 0 is the most chill, you know, I'm probably like at like a 7.5. I was telling the guys, I'm in the dregs, man. Like my team sucks, and I'm just hoping that, you know, I'm calling them bad and stupid, and some other things that I probably should say in a YouTube video. You know, encourages them to do a little better. So 7.5 on the panic meter there. Shit show squad 2-1, but I'm definitely a little bit panicky with the running back situation. I'm gonna put the panic at like a 6. The work league, Jimmy Finance 3-0. I'm not panicking at all. I think I'm primed for a championship run here, barring any injuries, so knock on wood. Panic meter, 2. I'm not worried. My wide receivers are a little bit sussy. You know, Tet McMillan and DJ Moore. I'm not worried about Malik, but we'll see about those guys. And then panic meter for the random league being 1 and 2. Yeah, you know, I got good players, but they're just not doing anything in terms of fantasy value. So my panic meter is probably going to be probably like an 8. I'm not really too thrilled about this team. Maybe they can turn it around. I just need a lot more explosive plays out of my studs, and hopefully that happens next week. All right, so yeah, play the music. That's it. That's the week 3 recap for all the fantasy leagues that I'm in. So I hope you're having fun playing fantasy football. This week really stressed me out. I mean, I went from having the opportunity to go 3-1 out of my 4 leagues, and then it looked like I was going to go 0-4, and then I ended up just going 2-2. So football's so back. I'm so invested in all my fantasy teams. I love this shit, man. I hope you're having fun. And I hope you enjoyed this video too. So feel free to like and subscribe if you want to check out more. You know, I'm always posting weekly recaps, and I'm going to try to get some more gaming content in as well. And so be on the lookout for that. But really appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and best of luck out there. Don't forget to do your waiver wires.